Let's get started with adding some inputs and prompts to our app. You'll see right now we have a view with 3 subcomponents called text. Those get pulled in from the React Native library above, and then we also have a style sheet below. Let's check out what other options we might have. So obviously we're going to use text for our prompts, and then we'll need to pull in some sort of input component for the text inputs. I'll start by just updating these to match what our prompts are going to be. So we'll have a text prompt that says, "What good things happened today?" And then I'm going to add another prompt for something that didn't go so well. Maybe what could have gone better will remain positive, even though it's going to be like a negative entry. Hitting save, and we'll see that refresh over here. That's good. Now we need to find a text input. So let's check out the React Native docs. And under their component section, you'll see all of these are available. And we should have some sort of a text input. Perfect. Text input. We're going to grab that from the React Native library, and then it looks like you can provide styles, a property for onChange text, so when the state gets updated inside the text box, and then a value to have as the initial value. Let's import that. And underneath here, I'm going to start a new text input and close it. Inside here, we'll just do a self-closing. We want a placeholder. Let's say something, I don't know, and see how that looks. Cool. We want 3 good things and then 1 bad thing. That's fine. So what can we do to make these look more like text inputs? That's kind of where my mind is going right now, because it looks just like normal text, and that is probably not good user experience. We probably need to start using styles. Also, in our mockup, we have this font, which is Avenir Next. Let's see if we can't use that for all of our text inside the app. Let's start by checking out our styles here. So the container styles, it looks like we have a default white background. That's cool. It might benefit us to make it this bluish color. And let's see if I can figure out how to use Sketch to grab this blue color. There we go. I'm going to copy that hex value and replace the all white. Okay, so now it's looking more like our mockup. Next, we should define some text styles for the text inputs. So at this point, I'd probably assign styles.text, probably just generic text style, which I haven't defined yet. Right now there's a container style, but we want to add a text style. And here we want to add the font family, Avenir Next. Okay, so we have that font there, but it's not being used anywhere else yet, which means I'm going to have to just kind of repeat myself. And so this is kind of weird. If you come from HTML and you've used CSS as like classes, you can't really do that here with all the inline JavaScript styles. Also, you'll notice that these styles are camel cased and not normal CSS sort of cased. That might be also weird to get used to. It certainly has been for me, because I want to put hyphens and everything. So that doesn't work here. But so far our prompts are Avenir Next. Maybe let's create a style for all of our text inputs, and then that can inherit the that font family as well. So we'll do styles.input for each one of these guys, and define an input style. And I have a feeling we're going to be marking this input font family or Avenir Next a lot. It'd be beneficial to us to maybe extract this to a separate variable. So I'm going to define font family up here and just use it, define it once, and then you reuse it elsewhere. So we can do font family is font family, but since we're using ES6 in this case, we can just shorten it to use the key and value shortcut. Okay, now we have nice fontage for all of our layouts. Let's add some more to our inputs to make them look more like inputs. I think we could start by adding some padding, maybe like 16 padding, which is kind of weird. React Native uses unitless numbers, so I kind of want to add a pixel or rems, but doesn't work here and it's not necessary. That feels like a little bit too much. Let's do 12 instead. And then to mark where these inputs are, let's add a background color to the inputs. And we'll just do all white right now. Very cool. They are really teeny tiny, and let's make them wide. So width we could do 100%. See how that looks? That looks kind of funky, but it's only funky because the container doesn't have any padding right now. Maybe let's add 16 pixels of padding to the entire container. And so now they're not touching the edge of the screen, which is fine. And then everything is stacked vertically with no margin. Let's add some margin to the bottom of input and to the bottom of text. So I'm going to add some margin bottom here of, let's do 12. No, 16. Looking good. We'll do the same thing for our text inputs or our text labels. Fun. I think this is looking pretty good so far. Next, let's add some more UI, like a button, and see how it starts to interact as the user goes through and types things.